Jeanne Arland Peterson, pianist extraordinaire, is what the experts call a child prodigy. She began to play chords and melody at the age of 3. Her musical career started at age 15 as a pianist and a vocalist, and became a sensation locally as well as nationally. This eventually brought her to one of the largest radio stations in the country, WCCO Radio in Minneapolis, where she remained for 22 years. Jeanne Arland has achieved celebrity status in Minnesota.
And our part of the country has Jeanne Arland, a gal who sings and plays.
The name Jeanne Arland Peterson is probably a household word by now in Minneapolis and St. Paul. It is with great pleasure that we present her this evening, Jeanne Arland Peterson.
The Petersons are Minnesota's first family of music.
Jeanne Arland Peterson.
By winning last year's Hall of Fame award, Jeanne Peterson has already reached the pinnacle of fame on the Minnesota music scene. When she got it, she shared the spotlight with her kids, just as she shared her love of music with them since they were babies.
Jeanne Arland Peterson, the mom of Paul Peterson, our bass player, is joining us on the piano today. Gotta have Mom. But you know what, really quickly, there are only 2 people who have been inducted into the Minnesota Hall of Fame, Judy Garland and Jeanne Arland.
Is that
So, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sitting in on the band.
Here.
It's going to be a fun show.
And has been recognized by many for her charitable contributions of time and talent. The governor of the state of Minnesota has declared a day of honor in her name. And in 1997, Jeanne was the first woman to receive the prestigious Arts Midwest Jazz Masters Award for her excellence in jazz musicianship. Jeanne Arland Peterson has shared the stage and recording studio with many celebrities over the years. Her playing and singing has delighted Bob Hope, Perry Como, George Burns, Red Skelton, and Paul Whiteman. And in addition, she has performed with and calls Peggy Lee and Marian McPartland her friends. From jazz cruises to nightclubs and concerts, Jeanne has wowed jazz greats Sonny Stitt, Roy Eldridge, Bud Shank, Toots Thielman, and George Benson. Donnie and Marie Osmond gave her top billing on their talk show, calling her a national treasure.
Donnie and Marie. Before we leave, bring the cameras on over here for a second. One last little bit of talent. We have a national treasure here at the piano. Jeanne Arland Peterson has joined us again from Minnesota. She is a legend, you guys.
In 1942, Jeanne married her soulmate, pianist Willie Peterson. They met while performing and continued their partnership throughout their lives together. Willie had a noted big band which Jeanne often joined and became mainstays in nightclubs, recording sessions, and on WCCO radio. Jeanne and Willie had 6 children: Linda, Billy, Patty, Ricky, Jeffrey, and Paul. They had the richness life had to offer until their 5th child, Jeffrey, who was born with Down syndrome, was diagnosed with leukemia at 18 months. The disease claimed his young life, and he died 5 days before his 2nd birthday in 1963. As the family healed, the gift of another son came into their lives, Paul Joseph. The home was constantly filled with music as rehearsals and recordings continued to be an important part of their lives. Jeanne, Willie, and their children were often invited to perform in concerts around the Twin Cities, filling the hearts of all who watched them. The family concert stopped in 1967 when they learned Willie had cancer. Although Willie and Jeanne continued performing, Jeanne eventually took the bulk of the jobs as pianist as her husband's health failed. In 1969, Willie Peterson died of cancer at age 48. For the past 30 years, Jeanne's life has been filled with her children and her continued passion for music. Her devotion to both has carried her through the joys and sorrows of life. Jeanne has witnessed the blessing of music she and Willie shared as it continues to shine through her 5 children who have all become professional musicians. Linda is a prolific singer-songwriter who has been invited to many venues around the world. Billy is known as one of the finest upright jazz bass players internationally and has recently completed 15 years as bassist for rocker Steve Miller. Patty's career as vocalist and entertainer has developed into a position as talk show host for WCCO Radio, where she watched her parents playing music often as a little girl. Ricky's abilities as a keyboardist has given him numerous opportunities as producer and musical director for the likes of George Benson and David Sanborn. Paul is a multi-instrumentalist whose credits include Stevie Wonder and Prince. He's currently musical director and bassist for Donny Osmond. Jeanne's children are all award-winning recording artists who feel privileged to continue the legacy of music handed down to them by their parents. Jeanne continues to amaze and delight her listening audiences. She has 5 recordings and last year released a CD of solo piano selections for the months of the year. It is entitled My Calendar and has received critical acclaim. Jeanne Arland Peterson continues to be an inspiration to her children and fellow musicians and wins the hearts of everyone she meets. She is the quintessential ageless woman with a God-given talent which has endured a lifetime and will continue to flourish for many years to come. Please join us in honoring her as she celebrates her 65th year in show business and her 80th year of life.